The year is 1936, and this W143 a.k.a. 230 was the first year that Mercedes-Benz produced it. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that brings you different off the beaten path cars that tend to get lost in the fray and dares you to drive something different. Post between 4 and 5 episodes each week, with engine episodes generally on Wednesdays. History, specs, design, and a lot of times it's like seeing these cars for the very first time. If that sounds of interest, a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Wait a second. You hear that? Spring is finally here. If you're in the Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, Southern Eastern New York State, West Virginia, Southern Michigan, or surrounding areas and have a cool, underrated car in your personal collection, drop me a line at what_it's_like at an email provider that was top dog for a time, now just a footnote.com if interested. 1936 Mercedes-Benz model lineup was broken down into a bunch of different number series: 130, 150, 170H, 170V, 200, 230, 260D, 290, 500, 500K, 540K, 770G4. Wow. Europeans must really like numbers. How the hell do you keep all of that information straight from year to year? If you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you will know that I, personally, am not the biggest Mercedes fan out there. I will admit that they made stellar cars at a time, but they started to go more utilitarian, and please, don't crucify me, but in my opinion, and I know that those 70s and 80s diesel Mercedes were bulletproof. My beef was always with the 450 SL. And it's neither here nor there, but Mercedes-Benz just kind of got very utilitarian, but still charged a premium price for their products. With that said, I can't think of another brand of car that has pulled off what Mercedes-Benz has done. They can supply cars for both the peasant market, which would be the 130 in this case, and cars for heads of state, like the 540K or the 770, which would be a chauffeur-driven car. And Mercedes-Benz is the only company that can still pull it off. The brand sells vans. They sell wagons, like their G-Wagon, which competes as the Jeep/Land Rover offering. They offer trucks. They offer cars for every price point. Anyway, the 230 began as the W143, and it began as a special long wheelbase version of the 200. The 2-liter variant was cut back drastically in 1936, making the 2.3 the natural replacement, and was renamed 230 in September of 1936, and would start the 230 era over at Mercedes-Benz. 230 would be like a flickering candle at Mercedes, meaning Mercedes-Benz didn't offer the 230 in one continuous run. They offered many different versions of 230 during its lifetime. Mercedes-Benz would use the 230 moniker number sequence from 1936 to 1998. It's important to note that sometimes Mercedes-Benz even added letters to the numbers. That's when you know you have something truly special, when you have both letters and numbers in the title. It's like 230S, and sometimes they put the letters before the numbers, SLK 230. Back to the 1936 W143, 230. It could be had in body styles such as, but not limited to, Pullman Limo, Pullman Landaulet, 6-seat Tourer, 4-door sedan, convertibles A, B, and D. Let's talk specs. 172.8 inches long, 64.2 inches wide, 63 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 120 inches. It weighs 4,189 pounds. Price. I could not find a price for this car. I found different figures. Like I found a figure that said 4,200 wrench mark. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I can't convert it. So if you guys could shine some light on that, that would be awesome. 230 production from 1936 through 1941. They produced 19,324 units during that window and time. Moving on to engine. 136 cubic inch displacement, inline, flathead 6, 2.3 liters. It's good for 55 horsepower, 3,600 RPM, 100 pound-feet, or 136 newton meters at 1,800 RPM with a bore of 2.854 inches in a stroke of 3.543 inches. Compression is 6.6 to 1. It could be backed with a 3-speed manual with a overdrive or 3-speed manual. Theoretical top speed is 68 miles per hour while achieving an average of 14.7 miles to the gallon. This absolutely gorgeous 1936 Mercedes-Benz W143 a.k.a. 230 is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, where they have this car and 895 other cars currently for sale when recording this episode. And get this, anybody can go peruse their inventory, whether that be online or in person, and it's definitely worth going there in person. Go spend the whole day there. Take your family. It's a bucket list place. If you've never been there, click the link below after the show for directions, information, more pictures pertaining to this car. The link will definitely be in the description.
Let's talk styling. But before we do, just look what it's parked next to. It's parked next to the very first year Pontiac. Look at how much taller the Pontiac is in comparison to the Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz is very low and sleek looking, whereas the Pontiac is kind of tall and a little bit stodgy. Just wanted to show you that size comparison real quick before we start talking about styling. Just look at how these bumpers are designed. Also notice the bright part here. And it's connected by, it almost looks like belt, but it's not because it has the holes and stuff in it. Also look at where it attaches to the car. I love how these fenders just flow. Has this nice dip down here at the bottom of the grill. I don't know if you could take this off. You'd probably take that off if you wanted to crank it by hand. The headlights, they're pretty big. There's my hand for reference. My hand is 7.5 inches long, and it's not as big as these headlights are. They sit on that bar that goes in between the two fenders, so the fenders don't flap going down the road. There is also marker lights on top of the fenders. Mercedes-Benz emblem there. Has a butterfly hood going back to the single piece windshield with the windshield wipers on the top. The fenders are more or less rolled. Look at how that fender is designed. How about that? It just says Lester Tire Company. I can't see a size. Has side mounts, which are held on by this clamp, which you just undo this. But also check out how it's mounted, how the clamp holds it to the car. And also notice it's not, I can't move it. It's very rigid, very stiff. Single piece windshield with, looks like it's either nickel or chrome. Might be nickel. This car does have drip rails. And notice it's not a full steel roof. It has the chicken wire in there. The reason for the chicken wire is because they hadn't figured out how to make a full steel top yet. This car has running boards. There's what size 12 shoe looks like on the running board, and then it drastically tapers as it comes back. Love the body lines here. The rear fenders are also rolled. Slight kickback. Not as extreme as what Americans were doing. The brake lights, and or maybe those are turn signal indicators. Definitely looks like that. The bumpers mimic the front bumpers. While we're back here, we might as well get it in the trunk. This is the license plate light assembly. Just notice it's all carpeted. It's a pretty big trunk, all things considered. Getting inside, but before we do, just take a look at how Art Deco these door handles are. Wow. I'm going to be the first to admit, I am not a Mercedes-Benz fan. Personally, I don't think they made a good Mercedes-Benz after 1966-ish. Some people will say that the 70s Mercedes-Benz are the best Mercedes-Benz ever, but I disagree. I got to drive one and it was a pile of shit. Anyway, it's all framed out. Those are my fingers for reference. Also notice where the mirror is mounted. It's actually mounted to the door. This is real wood. Super, super soft feeling. Like they polished and buffed it with 3000 grit sandpaper for a long period of time. That's what it feels like. This all feels like leather. Nice map pocket. Door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window, which operates like this. Notice it doesn't go all the way down. Also has this material around. It's not as rich as velvet. Feels like a felt material. Just look at these seats. They feel so nice. It smells amazing in here. Absolutely incredible. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, which everything is really close together. Clutch, brake, gas pedal. Just take a look at this interior, which you haven't seen in the back seat. Here is what over the hood looks like. Looks freaking awesome. Here is what first person over the hood would look like.
On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Clock. The rest of these will be up to your interpretation. I couldn't find a schematic or a button layout, so I'm just going to let the camera pan over slowly and just take it all in for what it is.
Up above, there aren't any sun visors, but this controls the windshield wiper. There is a rear view mirror, as well as the other windshield wiper controller. There are 3 cranks for the windshield. I'm guessing that these 2 unlock it, and then this one pushes it open. This car has dual glove boxes. This dashboard is made out of real wood. It's just so quality. This car is. Never seen a Mercedes-Benz have this much quality. They're all plastic now. The camera won't fit in the glove box, I don't believe. I don't think it will even fit in the opening, but we'll try it. Here's our camera. Here's my hand for reference. Yeah, the camera's bigger than the hole is, so it won't fit in the glove box. Ashtray at the top there. So notice with the rear door, it has a cutout for the wheel well, as well as map pocket, armrest, door lock, door handle to get out, window crank for the big window, operates like this, which it doesn't go all the way down either. It doesn't go down as far as the window in the front, but it still has all of the nice wood accent trim. Take a look at how much space you have back here. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. It is a bit cozy in this car, but it does have a nice intimate feel. Here is what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. There is a parcel shelf, small one. There's dome lights in center. 6 foot tall. I'm 6'2", and I got negative knee space. This is what I look like sitting in the back of the 1936 Mercedes-Benz. My hair is touching the headliner, which feels like a felt material. It feels like the same kind of felt material that's on the doors. It's not bad. It's a very nice atmosphere in this car with the wood and the leather, both, I would assume, real. Especially the wood is definitely real. The seats, I think they're leather as well. They're just so nice. They feel so nice, and it smells so great in here. Other creature comforts, there are coat hooks on both sides. They're actual coat hooks. That's really cool. Really nice touch. As well as over there. Same thing. The seat back profile, it bulges out in the center here, but it's not bad. The cushion is actually really wide. If it wasn't as wide, there would be more space. I know, I'm slacking a little bit. But anyway, let's take a real quick gander under the hood. Coil is mounted to the firewall. This is the exhaust and intake side. Downdraft carburetor, oil bath air cleaner, generator. The distributor is mounted just behind the second spark plug, which isn't the center. Very interesting. Horn. Look at how accessible everything is. No unnecessary BS. No crappy plastic. On the positive side, it's a great looking, well-built, quality car, especially the interior. The seats feel nicer than new Mercedes seats. I wish I could convey the smell. Remember the 1962 Chrysler 300H a little while back? That car smelled great. This car is in a totally different class because it's decades older. But it smells like you would think. It smells like an old German study or smoking room. I'm not talking cheap cologne, cheap cigarettes. I'm talking like top-notch pipe tobacco or cigars. And I'm not a smoker, but that's just what it smells like. All it's missing is the globe, which would totally complete the study/smoking room vibe. Against it, information is hard to come by, and I wonder if there's club support for this car. I would assume so. Parts may be hard to come by, but that's all that I can really see. It has an awesome interior. I would buy this car, and that's coming from somebody that's not a huge Mercedes-Benz fan. All right, now it's time
4, would you rather? Two scenarios stay. In the first scenario, would you rather have 1937 Packard 115C or 1936 Mercedes 230 or 1936 LaSalle? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, a bit outside the box. 1935 Hup Mobile or 1936 Mercedes 230 or 1936 Nash Ambassador. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. What a great song that is. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below or send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Thanks again for everything. I really appreciate the community we have. Until next time, toodaloo!